movie time.
Progressive helps keep you out there.
You probably don't.
Hi, I'm Holly.
I'm James.
And we just got back from seeing the live-action remake of Dumbo on its first night out. So we're going to tell you what we think about it in a spoiler-free way at first. And we will make sure that we let you know prior to any spoilers that we want to give out so that you can stop the tape and go see the movie before you hear any spoilers.
We'll try. No promises.
So, what did you think of the live-action Dumbo remake?
Well, growing up with the original Dumbo, I guess it was already pretty old by the time I was a kid. I had fond memories of it, and so it had a lot of similarities. Had Casey Jr. running down the tracks.
And you could hear the song in the credits at the end, and one of the cast members sang it a little bit, so that was fun.
Yeah, it's a live action. It is a remake of the cartoon. So if you haven't seen the cartoon, I just got to ask, where have you been? I thought it was a really good remake. If you want to call it a remake, I guess a live action version would be more accurate, since it follows the same basic storyline.
It's the same with a lot of the other live action Disney remakes. They're going to take the basis of the story, and if you're going in for the nostalgia, I definitely think you're going to get that. You still have Dumbo, you still have his relationship with his mom, and you still have a good majority of the characters from the original movie, whether they are in the same capacity, and that'll be post-spoiler wall, as in the original movie, that may be a little different. You definitely get a lot of new characters, which I always am a little unsure about, but I think they did a really good job with the new characters. I loved the ones that you're meant to love and disliked the ones that you're meant to dislike. And they did a pretty good job on both ends, I think.
Yeah, and I can't say a whole lot about Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito without spoiling some of it.
It did feel like a Batman reunion.
Yeah, it's Batman Returns again. Penguin's Revenge.
Penguin's Revenge. Yeah. Well, let's not get into the spoiler wall just yet. What I do think they did a great job with, we watched the animated again this week. Again, we had the familiarity with it ahead of time, but we watched it again in preparation for the new movie. And one of the things that just pulled at the heartstrings, I think, from the animated was Dumbo's expressive eyes. And some movies can hit the CG thing, and some movies don't hit the mark. But I think they did amazing. Dumbo is adorable from moment one. All you have to see is his first little eye poking out, and they've got you.
I don't know about the they've got you thing, but I totally agree about the CGI. Not once during the movie did I think, hey, this doesn't look like an elephant. Even with his disproportionate ears, it all looked natural.
Yeah, and I feel comfortable saying that the elephant flies in the movie, and everybody knows this.
Spoiler!
By this point in time.
That's a spoiler!
If that is a spoiler, indeed you have lived under a rock, and I am very sorry to spoil that, but I think you should know by now. And when he flew, it was just as seamless and big as it was in the 40s when you saw it originally. Well, I didn't see it in the 40s originally, but when people went to the theater originally and saw him fly, it was just as amazing. It was seamless. And the other thing that I was really surprised at, because you guys saw Dumbo came with us to the movie, and he sat in my lap with my popcorn and my icy,
and
he
she didn't spill anything.
My Dumbo, he's all still dry and in one piece. they had a handful of relatively suspenseful moments in this movie, which I did not expect. And I was, clutched to Dumbo at least 4 times in this movie. At least 4 times. And it was always my concern for Dumbo as well being... Not that it didn't love the other characters, but again, he had that sweet, innocent baby face. And I guess I've always loved Dumbo so long that the elephants with the regular size ears look weird to me. I'm like, why are you making fun of him? He is so much cuter than the rest of you. His ears are adorable. I must have said 100 times in that theater, he's so stinking cute. Because he's so stinking cute.
Yes, and I had to keep saying, shh.
And he stays stinking cute for the whole movie. So if you get nothing else out of this movie, you have a stinking cute elephant.
Well, I'll make one other comment pertaining to the movie theater while we're here. They had quite a few kids in there, and there was no talking. There was no noise whatsoever in that theater while that movie was on. That movie kept the kids' attention.
That it did. And it got a round of applause at the end. Everybody was clapping. Everybody was cheering. I think it sounds like a winner all around.
Yes.
I would recommend that you go see it.
Yeah, the movie captured all the key elements of the original. It was you had Casey Jr., you had the train following the map up through Florida. And
Casey Jr. even had the smile on the front of his face still too. And the map, yes, I love the map. I love that they had the map in the original movie. I love that they have the map now. I love that they start in Florida in the map, because in the expansion of Fantasyland, you now have the Casey Jr. area with the Splash Park area. And it's not a full park, but it's the Splash area. So Casey Jr. resides full-time in Florida now. So for them to start that in the movie, that's just, to me, such a great tie-in to the park. I can't say too much about it pre-spoiler wall, but I want to throw out pre-spoiler wall just for those of you who may be fans of this ride, that there is a nice little nod to the Carousel of Progress in this movie, which happens to be it's definitely a top 10 favorite ride.
Is it really a ride, or is it a show?
It's an attraction.
A ride show.
It's an attraction. It is definitely a top 10 favorite attraction for me. I drag everybody that I can on there, and I know that I had to be drug on there first, and I know I said I wasn't going to like it, but I love it. I love that attraction, and they give a little bit of a nod to it, and that's another thing that I really love about this movie. There are so many nods to Walt Disney. And his idea of being able to do the impossible and all those other things. And I love that the Disney company kept that in the movie. Like, I like when they go back to the basics, when they go back to Walt, because it was really his ideas and it was really his passion that started the company. And as the years go by and a lot of people who worked with Walt are passing, it's not going to be that many people living soon who worked with Walt. So to make sure that they still keep that connection, for me, is a huge deal. Because that's part of why I love Disney. It was his vision and it was his passion and all the things that you can learn from what Walt did with the movies, with the animation, with the parks, with everything.
Well, I don't know about all of that. She's the reader. I just hear what she tells me.
And you do listen to, like, other things that I listen to, too. Anyway, anything else pre-spoiler wall?
Well, I mean, again, just going over the inventory of the big spots that they cover. They covered they covered Casey. They covered the map. They had a little nod to the stork in there. It's kind of hard to have a stork delivering a baby elephant in a live action film, so...
Although he was a trooper holding up that elephant in the cartoon, because that still had to be a heavy package.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an elephant. And it's a stork. Enough said. You got a little bit of a nod to Timothy Mouse. He is somebody that I really liked in the animated. I guess, and it makes sense the way they did the movie. It wouldn't have really been something you could have carried over very well, being
a talking
cartoony.
mouse.
Yeah. So not there, but he was there. You get to see him.
A little nod to Timothy there.
They made a nod to the song when I
see an elephant fly.
Why would it not come out of my mouth? I don't know. And not in necessarily song form, but the nostalgia pieces were there. Poor Dumbo still gets stuck being a clown. And he looks even more sad as a CG clown than he did as an animated clown. Like, heartbreaking. It was sad.
Well, we're gonna come back to the clowns in a few minutes here, but yeah, they had the clown scene. They had the scene of him going up in the tower and flying. Again, spoiler. Big spoiler that he's flying.
I think they would want their money back if he didn't fly.
Pink elephants.
Oh, the pink elephants. They're still there.
They are there.
Wasn't sure if they were going to keep that either. So when it came in, I was like, oh, we're here again. Yeah. And at first I was like, we're really here again. But it does hit the nostalgia thing. So, yeah. All right, let's keep it.
In addition to the tower, there was probably even more of a tearjerker of how they separated Dumbo and his mother. It's like, you know, in the cartoon, it was pretty cruel that they just had them in separate cars, but I think in this one they took it a step further, and it was even that much more heart-wrenching, if you want to say heart-wrenching. They stretched out
the Dumbo and his mama drama throughout the movie. Mama drama? Let's just say they stretched it out quite
This is definitely a movie about mother issues. Okay, so we're coming back to the mama drama.
Jeez. All right. What else you got to say about the mama drama?
No, I'm kidding.
So, bleeding into nostalgia, though, they have released the Baby Mine song over the trailers that you've seen on TV. And they do like a snippet of somebody singing it during the movie, but it wasn't what I expected.
Well, but that I think that's the voice that you actually hear in the trailer.
I don't know, but like the full song,
yeah, the
you
full
don't
song
get
you get
till the end. So you're gonna have to wait for that one. But it's there
if you're really waiting. If that's one of your top 10 all-time favorite songs,
it may be.
It might.
There's probably some moms out there that it touches a heartstring on.
It probably does. Anyway, so they covered all of those basic elements of the original film. Then it traveled into some uncharted territory as Michael Keaton, Batman.
Why is he playing bad guys? He's Batman. I don't get it. Can't get over it. He will always be Batman.
He hears of this flying elephant, and...
So, are we over the spoiler wall? Should we tell people to turn off the video if they haven't seen the movie yet? It might be safe. If you haven't seen the movie, figure out what time we're on right now. Stop, pause, remember, go see the movie. No, Disney is not paying us. And then come back and see us. Fair?
Sure that's fair.
You have been warned. You should turn off this tape, because in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're over the spoiler wall.
Okay, so back to Batman.
Yes, this is still a Dumbo video.
So Batman is
the bad guy. Yes. How does that happen? And Penguin...
He got old. He's crotchety. He's angry.
And Penguin is the good guy, yet he still is hanging out with the circus people.
Yes.
But they're good guys, too.
Yes.
It's like Batman on its head. Only there's no Catwoman.
Yeah, well, she got turned to dust at the end of the last Avengers movie.
I still say they could have cast her as Colette. So, Colette is one of the new characters that I really liked. And she comes in with...
Batman!
With Batman's character. And didn't really like her at first. I don't think either of us really liked her at first.
she had that very snooty, uppity...
Yeah, she had resting witch face. And she was in league with Bad Batman, because that's what he is now. But she redeems herself. So instead of having, so we are over the spoiler wall. Instead of having the traditional Timothy Mouse, who was Dumbo's, buddy, who helped him out, we have a family, and the family has some issues going on right now because it's a Disney movie. You have to have a dead parent, right?
Yeah.
So there's only a dad. Sorry.
It was either kill the mom or kill Dumbo's mom, and I don't think anybody wanted to kill Dumbo's mom.
Agreed. So you've got a family of 3 here, and they have their own things that they're working through. The daughter kind of takes the big lead as Dumbo's proponent and helper and savior. The brother does too, but the daughter takes a much bigger role.
The daughter's the main focus here, and a little creepy. She's got these kind of big eyes, and she looks a little creepy to me. And
she has
I could see her starring in a movie where the girl just goes
she does kind of have one of
crazy and kills everyone.
From what I assume, I don't watch scary movies, so she looks like a scary movie little kid to me, but I don't know. But the character isn't bad.
The character's not bad.
She's likable. If it weren't for her, we wouldn't have our Carousel of Progress moment. So
true.
Redeemed a little bit. And I'm cool with the dad. I'm cool with the Penguin too. The Penguin turned out pretty good in the end.
Yes.
He was a little sketchy at the beginning. Be forewarned, there's a really creepy monkey that I think they resurrected from the Pirates movies into this one, and my personal opinion, he has a little bit too much screen time for me. I would have been happy with a little less monkey, which is weird because, I have a lot of plush animal monkeys that I like, but this monkey was a little obnoxious.
Well, the monkey is introed as, metaphor for a problem.
Yeah, well, he is.
He had a
monkey on his back.
Yes.
Gotta love those subtleties. But so he's in there too. Other new characters. You have a lot more of the circus people. The strong man. You had the mermaid, who had some pretty kick butt moments. Gotta say, she had some fun ones. In Nightmareland, that was the area of the park. Okay.
Well, we need to get there. We need to get to night. We are now covering.
Time out. Just for the record, if there's ever a park that has a Nightmareland, do not sign me up, because I don't want to go to Nightmareland. I live in Fantasyland for a reason, and it's not to have nightmares.
It looked awesome. I'm sorry.
Awesome. It looked scary.
Anyway, getting back on track here. The original movie kind of ended as soon as Dumbo was everybody could see that Dumbo flew. This movie does not end there. This is what happened after Dumbo flew.
Right. It's kind of like a Maleficent or a Cinderella, where you have to remind yourself that this is not the same movie you grew up with, and you have to look at them as 2 separate films, because some of the key story pieces have changed. You don't have Timothy, you have this family, and the family's got to grow as well as Dumbo growing and learning. So you move on to Bad Batman's.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne was hanging out in Wayne Tower, and
with bleach blonde hair.
Yes, he saw the newspapers of an elephant that could fly, and apparently he was this big wig. I guess he owned Coney Island.
At least was the idea man for it.
Well, they mentioned Coney Island in it, so I didn't understand whether or not he owned saying that he owned Coney Island, or
I don't know. We may have to go back and watch it again.
I mean, he clearly owned the new theme park because, he owned
the theme park.
Yes.
So,
whether or not it was Coney Island, they didn't specifically say that it was Coney Island. They just made a reference to Coney Island.
So, one way or the other, he does own this new theme park, and
he's looking for an attraction.
He's looking for his star, and we know who the star of Dumbo is. So he goes after Dumbo, and he convinces Maximilian, the penguin, who owns the traveling circus, that we don't do this anymore. People come to us, so you need to bring your circus and your people to my theme park. And of course, all he really wants is Dumbo, so not everybody is going to get this great bargain that they think they're going to get.
Wow. People normally, or very seldom, do get what they bargain for. Mm-hmm. So that's nothing new. Disappointment is nothing new. Anyway. So
way to bring us down.
Yes.
Thanks. So,
what goes up must come down,
cover
right?
your ears, Dumbo.
Yes. So we get to he convinces Batman convinces the Penguin to come to Gotham with him, and
Nightmareland might be Gotham.
Yeah, well, it was pretty scary, but it was pretty.
It did kind of, that alligator looked like the kind of glow stick guys that Robin runs into in Batman Forever. So, well, hello, Holly. Batman Returns was Tim Burton, and so is this. So
yes.
Maybe that is exactly why we are having a redux.
Yes. Batman.
I'm like 20 years behind.
Batman versus
Penguin times 2.
Yes. Penguin's Revenge. So he convinces Maximilian to come to New York as a partner in this show, and we are introduced to Dreamland, which is
pretty cool looking.
It is pretty cool.
Minus Nightmareland.
Pretty sure it was all CG'd.
Pretty cool Ferris wheel, some neat roller coasters.
This was a theme park that I would like to visit.
Minus Nightmareland.
Wow. I'll leave her outside.
I'll stay with Dumbo.
That's cool.
Because he's so stinking cute.
But, so, we get to Dreamland, and that's when we find out that Colette isn't really the mean, nasty person that we think she is.
And, you know, Bad Batman makes a big deal about her flying on this elephant. I grow to like her. She's cool. Whatever. I'm glad that she's able to fly on Dumbo. But I don't really think Dumbo needed her. Dumbo would have been a great attraction on his own.
And for the most part, the crowd did love just Dumbo.
But I have to say, Dumbo's very first show, I almost had a heart attack because that was one of those suspenseful moments. So concerned about our little main character.
And so we have the first show that didn't quite go off as hitched, and that's where things start to unravel for everyone. It was all sun and fun and everything. Everybody was happy when they got to Dreamland.
But Dumbo finds out a little bit of good news after that first show.
Oh yeah, he hears the calling. And so again, we're spoiling things here because this is.
Do we want to spoil it all? Let's leave that alone. Let's just say Dumbo gets some good news out of it, and the team gets back together to help Dumbo out because the kids have made Dumbo a promise. They help him realize that he can fly, and in return, they promise that they are going to help him get reunited with his mother. Back to the mama drama.
Back to the mama drama. He's a mama's boy.
But I do have to say, you know, from there on, you have a lot more of your action and suspense.
A lot of action.
So you get some of that you definitely did not get with the original Dumbo, which was only like 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah,
It was 70.
it was a fairly short.
Don't quote me on that, but it was short. It was less than 90 minutes, and from what I've heard research-wise, they RKO actually wanted Walt to cut it and make it a short film and cut it down to 30 minutes or stretch it out longer because they didn't want to put the money behind it because it wasn't as long as most of the other movies. So they were like, you either need to cut it or you need to length
Make it a short or make it a full feature-length movie.
Exactly. And Walt was like, nope, we've stretched this thing as much as we can stretch it. We're not stretching it anymore, and I'm not cutting my movie.
Well, if Walt had introduced Batman to the movie, then we would have had a full-length cartoon.
Yeah.
No.
Batman.
I don't think she's buying it.
This Batman wasn't around then, so no, it wouldn't have worked. Nor was this Penguin. Where else can you see Dumbo meets Batman but right here, folks?
Yes.
Anyway, so lots of suspense, lots of adventure at this point, and can I say that the ending, the CG ending with more Dumbo flying was beautiful?
It was. He did get reunited with his mother. There's a little disagreement as to how plausible that was. But
And the answer, in case you're wondering, is pixie dust.
that's her answer for everything.
Oh, well, how do we know we made it across the globe? Fine. Pixie dust. The fairies followed them over. Everything's okay. And the circus did pretty well on its own in the end, too. What I did like, the circus no longer used animals at the end, too. That was pretty cute.
PETA got to him.
That was pretty cute. Oh, you know what we completely forgot from the beginning? Karma. Super excited about Karma in the beginning of this movie. So in the original animated film, the whole reason they lock up Dumbo's mom is because she's trying to defend Dumbo from these bratty little annoying kids who are out of control and shouldn't be making fun of Dumbo to begin with, right? Because he's the cutest elephant ever. And because you just shouldn't be mean like that for absolutely no reason. So they have some mean little kids, but they have some mean adults too in the beginning of this movie, who are pretty hateful. And let me say, they get their comeuppance. And I was quite proud of Disney for giving them that. Instead of just being like, hey, it's a happy world and everybody's going to get together. No. You're a really stinking person, and sometimes really stinking things happen. So you shouldn't be a stinking person.
Well, I mean, it does follow the classic Disney. The hero gets his reward, and the villains get their comeuppance, as you put it.
But this isn't even the big villain. Like, this is the baby prequel to the movies even gotten started villain. But I tell you what, I hated the first. I'm calling him a villain. You may not. Villain more so than I hated Batman, but it could be because that was Batman. I can't separate the two. I keep trying. It won't work. Sorry.
I'm Batman. But so yeah, karma took its toll on all the bad people. Everybody
from beginning to end.
Yes. Everybody who had a hand in the underhandedness got their due. And so it wouldn't be a Disney movie if there wasn't a happy ending, and that's probably the main reason why they included a Colette.
True.
So, because at the very end, as we said, that the family was missing a mom, and they have a mom. Well, so, spoiler.
It's open to interpretation, but they have a happy get together at the end.
Yes.
So.
And so we'll probably have to
see it again.
Wow. I don't know. It costs a lot to go to the movies these days. But was it worth the money to have a movie night out? Absolutely. And was this a movie worth seeing? It was. Especially if you have kids, it was definitely kid friendly, and
And while we are big Disney fans and we do it a lot of Disney, we don't do
watch
a
every
super
Disney
duper, lot of movieing in the theater. Little bummed out when we got in the theater. The sound was working, but the video was not. So, and we've seen it online, but it would have been nice to see it on the big screen. We heard, but did not get to see the Aladdin trailer. And we saw 3/4 of the Toy Story 4 trailer, and heard 1/4 of it. So, not having seen Aladdin today, seen it, just not recently enough for it to be in my head. So I don't want to say anything about that, but what did you think about the Toy Story 4 trailer and where it's going?
It looks interesting. I mean, I like Toy Story. I can't say that I've seen any of the Toy Story movies in the theaters. Not sure if that's going to change with 4 or not. I guess it depends on...
I think Bo Peep looks cool.
Yeah, it you know, as far as trailers go, it was interesting because Bo Peep kind of... I think she disappeared after Toy Story 1, didn't she?
Was it 1? Or was it 2?
Oh, I don't remember which one she
obviously
vanished
not
from.
Toy Story experts.
But
I came
you
out
know,
the story late in the game.
It was nice that she was back.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think she looks kind of like a villain in
I don't know.
Toy Story 4.
I think she's just a spunky, heroic female lead.
And she definitely got a thing for Woody, and
Well, she's always had a thing for Woody.
so much so that she'll never let him leave.
Uh-oh.
So again, it's interesting because I do like how they've developed that over the years, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I was on the fence a little bit. Like 1 and 2, 3 seems like a perfect ending for Toy Story, so I wasn't sure how they were gonna be able to stretch that back out again. So
Slinky Dog.
stretch it out, get it?
Anyway.
So
moving on.
All right. Any closing thoughts? Should we do the 2 ears up thing?
Yeah. Back to Dumbo. The rating for Dumbo. It's I think I would give it 2 very big ears up. Well, I think that's all from us for now. Until next time.
See you real soon.